we're sort of semi-binge buddies.
Semi-binge buddies? Because this isn't Frisky Dingo, but at the same time, it's also not like a full season or anything. So it's kind of like it's definitely not Corona cartoons.
No, it's not a cartoon for one thing.
No.
We could call it a binge one-shot.
There you go. Binge
One-shot buddies?
Yeah, there you go. That works. So hi and welcome to whatever the fuck that is. And me, your host, is always Bryan Dressel. With me, as always, is Matt, the General Dykes.
I am the general. You will do as I say.
Yeah, I think it'd be a little
of
more
all
obvious
the characters, you get one that's like the most boringest named character ever. I mean, maybe it'll be just like man in party number 2.
I mean, I went for just another Time Lord. I didn't want to pick the Master because everybody knows who the Master is. And then I'm like, well, I'll just pick one of the other ones. I'm like, wow, all the rest of them are pretty boringly named. I mean, I could have gone with Omega. That's
better.
one.
That's way better. As opposed to the General. I'm like, Christ, I've seen the General in this one. He's a boring old fart as well.
I was going to give you the woman, but I didn't remember who the woman was.
I'm trying to remember now as well. I can't remember. I'm thinking of back in the old Doctor Who.
That's what I assume it has to be. Like, that's what this list is like every Doctor Who character ever.
Yeah.
It's a very long list.
I keep thinking Talia, but it's not Talia at all. I think it's something along those lines.
I have no idea. Either way. So this week, we're obviously not talking Frisky Dingo. We're not talking Venture Brothers. And we're not talking whatever our next series is going to be. We're just doing a little break. Little hello. And we wanted to cover something to be kind of fun. We could do it in one episode. But it's also kind of something that we have been talking about a little bit. As in, we've been just making fun of Matt for not writing an article about it for, 2 years.
Yeah, about as long as I've been writing articles for you.
Yeah, so we decided to do Doctor Who, and Matt and I actually came up with this at the exact same time, and then messaged each other about 2 different episodes, and then we settled on this one because I thought it would be a little bit easier for the more casual fan.
Yeah, well, for me, like the one I went in with, I thought the 1996 American TV movie, and I think if we'd have done that one, it would literally just been, yeah, this is god awful, but Paul McGann's a really good Doctor. And
Paul McGann did a great job in a terrible movie.
Yeah. Yeah, Doctor Who with, triads and things like that and getting shot and things like that. Yeah, not great.
Yeah, I mean, Doctor Who is great because it can change so dramatically depending on who's playing the Doctor, but that one just didn't click. At least for me. I know there's a big audience out there for it. A lot of people really, 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 really love it, and I'm just not one of them. I like him. So
I was just saying, I will watch it, but I will watch it just for Paul McGann. Because I think what he does is so great with the character. He's like a mixture of... he's got a bit of Peter Davidson in there. There's a little bit of Tom Baker in there. There's he does a really good amalgamation of all these other previous ones, and then adds his own little flavour to it as well. All in this 190-minute TV movie. And I do think it's it's pretty crappy that they never really brought him back again, apart from that one shot they did just before this. The Day of the Doctor that we're doing. I feel like he got quite a bit of a raw deal. I mean, he's done some audio ones, and apparently they're really good. But it's just it's a shame, really, because he was really good.
Yeah, it is. It's a bummer because he did a really good job. But I think just because he got saddled up with such a weird production of Doctor Who, I think the powers that be are just let's just pretend that one isn't a thing. We'll give him the credit of Doctor. Whenever we do a group shot, he'll always be included. But beyond that, let's just kind of casually walk away from that era.
Yeah. I mean, I was looking through, the quotes from today's episode, and the bit where all the Doctors are flying the TARDISes around, and it looks like all of them, apart from Paul McGann, has a snippet of, dialogue thrown in that bit. And it's a bit of a shame. Because they could have had him, record something else. He
already shot something for the special. He could have literally recorded something.
Yeah, he could have just been on set and gone, okay, and say this, okay, yeah. Starting now. Okay, done.
Yeah, that's it. Just give us a righto. You're good to go.
What herd, boy?
Yeah, I mean, I did we're not really going to talk much about the special because I didn't have time to watch it, but I did like it when it came out. I was like, oh, look at that, Paul McGann's back.
Yeah.
It was a cool little thing. I don't remember it that well, but I
think
remember
I've seen
really
it once. I vaguely remember it was just him looking like he's about to die and just sort of going and just groaning a lot, if I remember rightly. He's on like a planet and there's some people who are saying, we can help you decide what you will regenerate as, or something. Then he chooses like Warbutt Doctor, and they used a like an old, like I think they did some sort of CG work to put an old image of John Hurt onto his face as he was regenerating, or there was like a reflection or something. Something about like a young John Hurt, which was quite an interesting little bit that they did.
I'll have to watch it again at some point because I honestly don't remember.
I have to find it first.
I don't think it's that hard to find. I'm pretty sure I have it on Blu-ray because it came with the special that we're talking about today.
Ah, yeah, it will have done. Yeah. See, I watched it on Netflix, so I don't actually have this on Blu-ray.
It's no longer on Netflix here in America. We had to watch it on HBO Max. Everyone's new favorite streaming service that cut out every 5 minutes. So it took a 70-minute special, and it took Chewy and I almost 2.5 hours to watch it.
Oh, for God's sake, that's not
It's
good.
the best way to experience the Doctor Who 50th special.
In 5-minute snippets.
Had I not seen this 100 times, this episode would not be happening today.
God, that's bad. I mean, I know that it's leaving Netflix. Like, the whole of Doctor Who is apparently leaving Netflix in the UK as well on the 31st of December, because when it came up, it said, last chance to watch. I was like, fuck, have I got time? Oh, 31st of December, I'm fine.
Oh, wow. Yeah, we lost that Netflix out here years ago. But, oh well.
BBC's probably got its own little stream map out there as well. Like, the streaming apps that you guys have got compared to ours, like, you know, I think the UK's got too many of them now, and we've got 4, I think.
Holy shit, we have 400.
Yeah, I know. I was seeing all the different ones. I was like, there's a reason why piracy is going up again. Like, you know, piracy is on the rise again because you're just doing the same shit that you did before that caused piracy in the first place.
Hey, it's not me. It's just, us.
Yeah. So, yeah, not you specifically.
It's us.
Collectively.
All right, let's move into today's episode. Today's episode on the Day of the Doctor. The last episode with Matt Smith, right? Right?
Second to last.
All you Doctor Who fans out there with me are going, yes, that's right. Let's just say he's right. He's right.
No. Even I know that, and I didn't really. I watched that one, and I watched this one, and then I watched the next one. That was the last Doctor Who episodes I watched.
I don't know what you're talking about. This is the last one. The one after this does not exist because something so horrible it doesn't exist. We have jettisoned it from our mental capacities because fuck that episode. Fuck it. Oh boy. So when this thing actually came out, what was it? 7 years ago, 8 years ago, something like that.
Yeah, 2013, I think.
Okay,
Yeah, because that's the 50th anniversary.
Okay, cool. So when this thing came out, I know I'd gone back to Chicago probably for the holidays, and we went and saw it in a theater. Like, we had bought tickets. We went sold out theater, fucking 10 o'clock at night, hundreds of people there. Like, this was a big deal. Like, we had a ton of fun going to this.
Yeah, I do remember that. Like, there was some cinemas that screened it as well in the UK. I think there was some 3D screenings of it. There was a specific 3D stream you could get on the TV for it as well, I think, if you had a 3D enabled TV. Which I think I did at the time, but I didn't watch it in 3D.
I mean, we saw it in 3D. The 3D was it was shit. It was
3D is shit though. Like, 3D's always been shit.
Yeah.
I mean, like Friday the 13th in Friday the 13th 3 in 3D. You know, when you watch that in 2D, you can kind of imagine what the 3D is like, and that's pretty much my opinion of all 3D movies. It's just like, whoa, we're gonna poke you in the eyes. Whoa, look at that. Whoa, whoa.
I mean, yeah. Friday the 13th did it best, and they've all been chasing their coattails ever since.
Exactly. Fuck Avatar.
But yeah, like there was 3D showings, there was 2D showings, it was on TV, it was this thing was everywhere. Like, even people who weren't big fans of Doctor Who were aware that this was a thing that was going on.
Well, it's quite a big deal though, really. It's like, you know, for any sort of franchise or, you know, series of something, be it films or TV, to get to 50 years is a big deal. It's a huge deal. Like, you know, I can only think of 3 off the top of my head, and that's Bond, Doctor Who, and Star Trek. That's it. Like, you know, they are the 3 big ones of, like, you know, when you talk about franchises, people know of them all.
Yeah, I mean, Star Wars will be there in a few years, but not yet. Because they just said 40.
Star Wars will be there. 2027 it'll be.
So not that far away.
For Star Wars.
They'll get there.
Yeah,
I mean, I think Disney has a roadmap out that far.
Yeah, Disney's probably got a roadmap.
Quotations.
Disney's probably got a roadmap up to 100 years, and they'll fuck it up like everything else.
But yeah, like that 50-year landmark is a big deal, and Doctor Who's still going strong. Like, they're only 3 years away from getting to 60, which is also very tough.
Yeah, it's you know, I think it's one of those things. Like, yeah, with Doctor Who, like, there is that sort of, there's the argument of like when people say, well, it's not really 54 years though, because there was a huge gap. It's like, yeah, all right, fair enough. It ended in 1989 and then was brought back, but it's still the same continuity. There's still the same characters that went across. There's just a break in between. I mean, like, doesn't make it any less than 50 years. It's still 50 years from when it first started. It's like saying, you know, X-Files isn't 20 however many years old because there was a huge break between season 9 and 10.
Yeah, no, that's just not how that works. Like, sure, I mean, it'd be great if there was episodes the whole way through, but at the same time, I've gone back and I've watched the majority of Doctor Who. Like, I'm a pretty big Doctor Who fan. I'm not watching the current seasons because I don't think the writing is very good, but I will get to it. Like, it's one of those, like, I will always watch Doctor Who. And it needed that break. Like, it was out of gas. Like, it definitely needed to take a break. And then taking that break and then coming back with Russell T Davies and just that relaunch. I mean, there's a reason why why it was so popular in 2013 when this thing came out. Like, I think that break had a lot to do with it. It kind of let us all remember fondly what Doctor Who was, so that when it came back, it's like, oh yeah, this is Doctor Who again. And then we could all kind of swell up in it. But if it had gone just petered out, we wouldn't have gotten to 50 years.
No. And I think the thing as well, like what you're saying, like the break. I mean, I've watched like some of the old ones. Like I watched a lot of Peter Davidson ones, and I really enjoyed them. Like I think I watched them quite a lot, to be honest. Like wore one of the videotapes out, I'm sure. And then there was like that big gap, and then when it relaunched, I sort of got into it a little bit, but it didn't have that same thing for me anymore. And I don't know what it was. I think it was maybe the nostalgia was like really high for me. So like, I can watch those old ones that I used to watch and enjoy them because I'm running on the gas of nostalgia.
Sure.
For those ones, it didn't have it for me. So it was like, you know, Doctor Who has always been, you know, it's aimed at children mainly. You know, it's that sort of gateway of like horror and sci-fi for children. But there are still like adult themes in it. But I just think there were some really good episodes, some really great episodes, and I did keep watching, and then I just got to a point where I just sort of fell out of it.
I think you fell out when a lot of people did. Like, there was something to be said about Stephen Moffat and his writing. Like, I don't mind Stephen Moffat. I think he did a really good job with a lot of stuff. I know a lot of the fan base, specifically at the time, were really mean to Moffat. Like, they wanted him out, and he didn't go anywhere for a very long time. But that was mostly because he wasn't willing to take legitimate big swings, but he'd pretend that he was. Like, he'd have every season end with the end of the world, but there'd be no consequences, or the end of the universe, and then there's no consequences.
There's always a magic button. Like, this is the thing that really annoyed me. There was always this magic button that would reset everything, fix it all, and it'd all be happy and fine. And I think that do you know what I think it probably was? I think it was Torchwood Series 3 where I stopped watching Doctor Who, because Torchwood Series 3, Children of Earth, didn't have that reset button at the end of it. There was a serious consequence, you know. Yeah. Like, it was a really, really dramatic, really serious, really dark consequence.
Dark.
And it was that, and I was like, that's what I want from, like, you know, any kind of drama that I watch, any kind of TV drama I want serious consequences, and I want, you know, if you're going to take us to the brink of the end of the world, I want some sort of serious consequence of you fixing it. I don't want another magic fucking button which just resets everything.
All right, but let's actually talk about the special itself. Like, we're talking more just kind of like Doctor Who in general, and just kind of like in the macro sense, but in the micro sense of today's special specifically. This was the first time we'd had a crossover with Doctors for a very long time, as a matter of fact.
I think the last time was the 80s. I think it was the Peter Davison era, like 5 Doctors it was called. So it would be the 80s.
Whenever the Doctors get together, it's usually kind of a big deal because they don't do it that often. They've done it now, I think, in the new season once, and it's with a version of the Doctor. It's supposed to be pre-Peter Hartell, I think, and I'm like...
William
Hartell, sorry. I always want to call him Peter. But yeah...
Isn't he supposed to be the first one, though? That's bizarre.
Yeah, he is, and that's where I'm like, okay. Are you guys just out of ideas? Like, this is why I'm not watching the new seasons, because I don't think they're particularly well written. I could be wrong. When I finally get around to them, I'm like, well, fuck, man, I was wrong. Those were great, but...
You're just throwing continuity straight out the window now.
Yeah, and it's like, I get it. You're nearing 6 years of a TV show. At a certain point, continuity be damned, because fuck it. But at the same time, like, what are you doing? But this special kind of has that same problem, and that's kind of what I want to get into, because it doesn't bother me. Like, the way that Russell T Davies brought the show back and really, really focused on the Doctor by, during that big break, hey, guess what? He killed all the other Time Lords. They're all gone now. It's just him. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
That's a big change. And then throughout the course of this special, Stephen Moffat undoes that change.
And at the time, the Daleks were all gone as well.
They were, but they totally fucking weren't.
And the Daleks.
Yeah, that was a really great idea, but even Davies fucking retconned that within a season. It's like, okay, I get it. You can't really have one without the other. But yeah, the goal of that original Time War was, there's no Daleks, there's no Time Lords. That's it. So when Eccleston has that one episode with the one Dalek, it's like, holy shit, and it's a great episode.
Yeah.
But this episode was supposed to be like the what happened in the Time War, like what changed, like who did it, like which version of the Doctor did it. And originally it was going to be Christopher Eccleston, but then they couldn't get him to be in the episodes, and they hired John Hurt, which was actually a way better fit.
Yeah.
And
I believe there was talk at one point where they were going to bring back Paul McGann. One of the things I read was they were thinking of bringing him back, but they wanted it to be darker, and they didn't feel like he was dark enough. But it's Paul McGann. Paul McGann can do dark. And
it's one of those things where, like, I get reasoning. It. I totally get them wanting to bring back the other Doctors, but at the same time, this really felt more like a celebration of kind of Doctor Who at whole, but really Doctor Who's the reboot.
Yeah.
They definitely have throwbacks to the entirety of Doctor Who, because they're always very good about that, like not just shining a light on the current edition, but that one, it's really just kind of like the current edition with, mentions of what came before, but it's more celebrating the now than the whole, which is fine. That doesn't really bother me that much. The thing that bothered me more was the whole, and it doesn't bother me. The main reason we have this reboot is because of the Time War and what the Doctor did, and then this entire special undoes it. And it just kind of leans in like the biggest problems of Moffat, of he's not willing to really let any consequences be there, so much so that he takes, 8 years of a television show that we've all become invested in, and takes out the biggest consequence that got us into this show.
Yeah.
It is. Throws it away. Oh, no, they're fine. They're in a painting. What? What?
Yeah.
And like I think about it as a fan,
respect.
and I'm just like, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, but this was everything. Like, and you could just undo it with quite literally a big red button.
Well, the big red button was what they were actually going to kill everyone, kill them all.
And then they don't push it, and they travel through time art, and they save the day. And it's just kind of one of those, like, this works and it doesn't work. Like, it annoys me at a certain level, but at the other time, I'm looking at this as I did the show as a whole, where you have to fucking take a break at a certain point. Like, you can't just keep running the same shit into the ground. And I feel like that's why, like, as much as I want to be mad at this episode and be annoyed that they just retconned all this stuff and threw it all out the window, Moffat was also understanding we're running this into the ground. Like, we need to shake this up and change it. And what better way to do it than to bring back the Time Lords?
Mm.
I'm like, okay. So I can kind of hate it and kind of respect it at the same time. And like, no, I love it, but I also kind of hate it.
Yeah, it's quite an interesting thing, like, because I'd sort of seen it as it doesn't really undo it, because like the memories that Doctor has, he still thinks he did it up until where we are now, and it's kind of like bringing them into the, yeah, you would think, like he says, 400 years he's been thinking about this, and like, you know, he didn't want to do it. It was the wrong decision, and like throughout this entire episode, there's this whole thing of like, you know, it wasn't the right decision. It was not the right decision, and then to see them sort of think of something different, you know, like let's not make this decision. Let's actually do something, like be the Doctor about it a bit more. Like, you get the sort of the sense of like the War Doctor was just, he had no other ideas left, and this was the only way he could end the war, and he was fed up of all the death, the destruction, and he just wanted it to end. Like, because that was the thing as well with it, is it wasn't just the war between the Daleks and the Time Lords. There was collateral damage where, you know, civilizations were getting wiped out because of their war, and I think
at that point he was sure the whole universe was going to burn. Like,
yeah,
he thought they're going to take the whole thing out.
Yeah, so you kill billions to save quadrillions. You know, it's a maths game. It's a horrible way of looking at it, but you know, that's how war is fought. You know, we won because we only lost 50 million. We didn't lose 500 million.
Yeah.
You know, it's still 50 million. But it's, you know, I think he as a character got to that point where, like, you know, he's going to make that decision. But then you have 400 years to think about that. You are going to regret it. You're going to not, you know, if you're back in a situation where you can change it, you're going to want to try. And I think the good thing they did with it is it wasn't like, yes, they have succeeded. It was that sort of question of like, are they still out there though? Did they succeed, or did they blow up the planet anyway? And it's that, I did like how that, it wasn't like a, like, you know, no, we were victorious. It left that mystery at the end of it. Now, yeah, I've not seen anything further, so I you know, and well, I've seen the next episode where you do actually kind of find out that it did succeed, but they're in a weird parallel odd universe. Like, let's not talk about that next episode. That was fucking weird shit.
When they finally do find the Time Lords, it does pay off, and it's not that bad. It's in the Peter Capaldi stuff, and it's not right away. Like, it takes a while to get there.
Yeah.
And it's they make it work. But there was like that whole very seriousness, and the John Hurt line, I think, sums it up the best, of like they finish and he's like, well, I'd rather fail in doing the right thing than succeed in doing the wrong.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. And I appreciated the whole, it's definitely, you know, let's fix it with a line of dialogue, but whatever. So I'm not going to remember any of this. Nope. You have to live with thinking that you did it, so they don't have to change anything of their previous seasons. And it still works in continuity. It's kind of like that whole, like what they tried to pull off in fucking Rise of Skywalker of like, I didn't lie to you about your parents, but I also kind of did, but it actually works here.
Yeah. The more I hear about the Rise of Skywalker, the more I'm glad I've not wasted the time on it.
Oh, it's such a fucking bad movie. Whereas something like this is like, and as I was watching this, I was actually comparing it to Rise of Skywalker a lot in my head, because the Rise of Skywalker has the similar problem of like, we're just here to be fan service. Plot, fuck that. We're here to be fan service.
Yeah.
And this one kind of had that same problem of like, it's the 50th celebration. People are going to theaters. They're spending way more money on one episode than they usually do on an entire season. Like, this is a big deal for people. So you want it to be fan service. And you and I were kind of talking a little bit before we recorded, and I think this one does the best job, arguably in my opinion, it might do the best job of being packed to the brim with fucking fan service, but never at the cost of story.
Yeah, it's never overt. It's never like, ooh, look at this little reference. It's just little things. It's subtle things, like the little corkboard thing with all of the Doctor's companions on, and you can just sort of see like the line of photographs, and it's like, you know, the camera's focused on, I think it's one of the first ones. And it's not overt. It's just it's set decoration. like you see Clara's looking at it and just looking at all the people that have, been the Doctor's companions over the years, and there's never any sort of look at this. Oh, look at it. Oh, remember this one? Oh, yeah. People remember this one. You'll know that. Oh, look at this one. Look at this one. It's just there. It's not.
Yeah, and then they do a lot with dialogue, and again, it's just kind of there. Like it's really woven in well. Like every time there's a crossover with other Doctors, and one of the Doctors comes in the current Doctor's TARDIS, he'll say something along the lines of, "Oh, you redecorated. I don't like it." And like that's kind of been the running gag, and they still have it folded in here, but they don't really they don't stop the show. They don't do anything. They just they do it. They hit their moment. It's funny, and they move on. And I also like that they have it with Matt Smith just throwing the one thing on top of it of like oh, you redecorated. I don't like it. Yeah. Oh, you never do. It's like.
Well, I think the only thing in this episode where it can be felt a little bit of like, do you see what we're doing there? Do you see this? Is the bit where where he goes, oh, the little circle things. Oh, I like the circle things. What are they? No idea. Again, it's not overt. It's a throwaway line of dialogue that's not overtly taking you out of it, really, because they're addressing it as well as like, oh yeah, I remember those. Like, what are they? I have no idea.
Yeah. But again, I think it's the quality in the quote unquote filmmaking of they knew how to hit those fan moments and just hit it and move on. And it's mostly done through the edit, it's done through the directing, and it's primarily fucking Matt Smith and David Tennant. Like their chemistry together is immediate and perfect. And they hit all of these lines that in a lesser show they would have to stop and like look at the camera like, did you get it? See how funny that was? And it's like, no, these two are just riffing and bouncing off each other so well as the same person that you can get away with these sort of like would be in other properties annoying like fourth wall breaking moments.
Yeah.
But with their chemistry and their quality of acting, it doesn't feel like fourth wall breaking. It doesn't feel like fan service. It feels like things that they would be saying and would be doing.
Yeah,
like
when it feels like genuine banter between them.
When they both slap on their glasses and they just look at each other, like yeah, it
and
feels
the bit where they get out the sonic,
Who.
the sonic screwdriver bit. I couldn't believe when I was rewatching. I was thinking that's a penis joke in Doctor Who, and I was like, oh my god, there's a dick joke in here. That's amazing. And it was just like it's the line as well. It doesn't feel forced or anything like that, and it's not overt because it's like compensating for what? Regeneration. It's a lottery. And it's just, I remember, like, I watched something like, I don't remember there being a dick joke in here before.
And it's just done so well with just Tennant just sliding his up just ever so slowly.
Oh, God, I remember, like, and then, like, the little thing of, what he calls him, Chinny, as well. Yeah. And like, because I remember like some of the comments that were made about Matt Smith when he first started, is like got a huge chin.
Yeah.
And then like the things like the sand shoes thing, it's all like really cool.
Yeah, and it's like, me, the witch with Granddad and sand shoes.
Granddad. I fucking loved John Hurt's reaction to that. That is just, he's brilliant. Like John Hurt's reactions to them are fantastic.
Oh,
like when he's like, you must be his companions, right? And it's like, am I going through a midlife crisis or something?
I love because we've all gotten so used to this version of Doctor Who where the fucking sonic screwdriver is a weapon. It's something to be feared. It's pointed. They get John Hurt
the pointing like, again.
There's screwdrivers.
What are you going to do? Assemble a cabinet at them?
And it's like such a great moment of like the show just being that level of self-aware of like, oh yeah, they're just screwdrivers. Yeah. What have they been doing this whole fucking time?
And it's those moments of brevity that sort of like they allow the serious moments to really shine. So like when you see those like really serious moments within it, it has more of an impact. I mean, there's that really sort of super serious battle scene, which, in my opinion, to be honest, is undercut a little bit by the laser sound effects because it's just do 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 do. I was like, oh man, you almost had it, but you've put that old 1960s, 1950s sound effect, and it just completely undercuts the seriousness of it. But it's like it's a really looking at it like visually, it's like something taken out of a friggin' war film. It's
for
so
sure.
like dark, and which is again, it's a weird thing to think. Doctor Who is being dark, especially like the newer ones, because I think the older ones were dark for the time. Like you look back around now and like, oh, the set's really wobbling things, but people were genuinely terrified of them. Like the Daleks used to genuinely terrify people.
Yeah.
Like I might have heard stories from my mum when she was a kid. Like she used to watch Doctor Who from behind the sofa, because like she didn't even. The opening sequence used to scare her. Like this little spider web thing that they did over I think it was probably the John Pertwee years.
Like that
Yeah,
whole thing?
it was the spider, the actual visual, this sort of spider web looking thing that used to come over the
Oh,
screen.
sure.
That, that used to freak her out. And it's just, you think about like the more recent ones, like. There's been some episodes that I can remember that had those seriously, but there's been a lot of things as well that which like, this is aimed at kids. This is a kids show. But
for all those kids episodes, you will have like Blink every now and then, where it's like, wow, that's not for kids.
Yeah, exactly. So you do get the odd one, and I think this one did a really nice balance of the more like kid friendly elements with some serious elements. Mixed in as well, like things that adults can appreciate a bit more.
Well, and just like some fucking high quality, just great acting, which you don't really always get in Doctor Who. But when you have that scene when they're in the Tower of London jail, and it's just the three doctors talking to themselves, essentially.
Might be my favorite scene in the whole thing.
It's so good. The acting is
how many
just
children
so...
on Gallifrey? It's just fucking hell.
And like you have this sudden thing that just frames the entire reboot in a whole different like contextual way of, oh wow, so David Tennant is the one who remembered and Matt Smith is the one who forgot.
Yeah.
And it just changes their entire character. And it's like, this was done unbelievably well, and all three of them are doing like some of the best acting of their entire career. Like it's just up there. And that's saying something with John Hurt in the room. It's like
considerably longer career as well, but he's phenomenal in that scene. He's phenomenal in a lot of his scenes because he shoulders the burden of the drama, and I can't think of a better actor to have that burden on their shoulders, because he is going to hit every fucking point perfectly, and he does. Like one of the best things about this for me is getting to see John Hurt really sort of take this to a dramatic level, and I just absolutely love it. And then he also hits those comedic elements perfectly. He was a phenomenal actor.
Oh
and
one of the best ever.
Yeah. And I think we were talking a bit when we were discussing doing this, and I was saying I can't think of anyone else who could have done that role, and the only person that came to mind who may have been able to do it was Alan Rickman. But apart from that, no one else. And I don't even think Alan Rickman would have done it as good as John Hurt did either.
No, he would have done a very good job with a character, but it would have been a very, very different character.
Yeah. I think they really looked out, not only getting John Hurt, but having like John Hurt being so up for it.
Yeah, because like a lot of us, I mean, yourself included, myself included, we're getting a little burned out on Doctor Who at this point. And I remember the episode before this ending with that credit tag, and then the guy turns around and it's fucking John Hurt, and it says, and John Hurt as the Doctor. And I'm like, what? Like, how the hell do you get John Hurt in this show, for one? And for two, how do you have, like, he's not going to stick around for multiple seasons of the Doctor. Like, what the fuck? And then when I figured out what they were doing with him, like, oh, that makes a lot more sense. And I'm way more interested now.
Yeah.
Because it finally felt like they're taking risks. Like, they're doing something big and different. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'm here for this. Yeah. And then John Hurt, he exceeded my wildest expectations. Like, I was like, all right, so it's John Hurt. He's doing a TV role. He'll do a TV job. Maybe he just wanted to check or something. And it's like, no, this guy, he showed up.
Yeah. He showed up to work, and he did it. He worked, and he played, to be honest. He had fun with that character.
Oh, for sure.
You can tell that he's having fun with the character. And just going to the look of him as well. Like the costume design is amazing. Like that leather jacket that he's wearing, that has been through a war. Like you can see it.
Oh
in,
yeah.
Like all the upper sort of curtain, the leather's like really worn away. You've got him with the sort of like the scraggly facial hair as well.
I like that he's got the harness on his chest for a screwdriver, so it's like
Yeah.
on him at all times. Like
I only noticed that on the second watch there. I was like, oh, his screwdriver's like almost like a shotgun bandolier across his chest. Yeah. Like there's like this shot where he's standing there, you can see it in there. Yeah. That's great. It's like the level of detail on that, and it all forms this character. This is a character who is fighting a war. There's nothing that's superfluous. He's not wearing a fez or something like that. Everything he's got is, it's serving a purpose.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where if they'd gone with the original choice, and I'm sure the script was different back when it was still going to be Eccleston, but it's just like that wasn't the right choice. Like somehow they ended up here, and everything worked out for the best. And I'm a big fan of Eccleston. I think his season was great. I'm always a little disappointed he never really got to fully explore the character as the other Doctors have. So it would have been nice to see him get that chance, but at the same time, like just for the quality of episode, for my buck, this couldn't have turned out better. Like I think this is just one of the best episodes of Doctor Who. It's easily like in my top 5, if not number 1 TV special of all time. Like I think they just knocked it all out of the park across the board.
Yeah, it's like a labor of love as well. You can tell that the people who were working on this really cared about what they were doing.
Yeah, like even like the little things, like the Osgood character, who she stuck around for a little bit in a few episodes here and there. People really liked her. People still go to cons dressed as her. And she's like,
I liked her. There was something about her. There's something about her, and I don't know what it is.
Maybe it's just because they threw in the old scarf, but
see, for me, it's like that's a nice little thing. Like, and I did like it. It's like, especially when he goes like nice scarf, and it's like, oh yeah, that's a nice little moment. But it's not. It's her character. There's something about her character. It's not just like because she's wearing a scarf. Like for me, it's not anywhere. There's just something really interesting about that character to me.
They just made a very minor character, but a very genuine person. And by the end of the episode, where they manipulate the memory filters, where if we didn't really talk about the Zygon stuff much at all, but so the Zygons who have pretended to be people and the Zygons and the people who are just people no longer remember if they're Zygon or not.
Yeah.
And she knows. She knows she's the human because she has the inhaler.
Yeah.
And after she knocked out the Zygon, she stole the inhaler. So she's the only one in the room who knows for sure that she's a human and the Zygon isn't. And the Zygon is wondering. And she hands her the inhaler and just goes, shh.
Yeah.
It's like, wow. You guys know who each other are. Now you know. And you're both going to hide it for the sake of the universe. Like, fucking cool, man. Like, that's such a just little minor moment that really means nothing to the rest of the episode, but it's a great little moment.
Like the Zygon plot for me, I was looking. I think that's the weakest part of it because it just seems really like it doesn't really seem to serve much. Really,
it's really just
it just sort of ends without a conclusion as well. Like they're still, as far as we know, they're still negotiating.
It does pay off in an episode later. Like there is a part 2 to that story that comes up later in the series. And the main reason I think the whole thing exists is just to explain the Time Lord art.
Yeah,
that's the
I just
main
feel like they
reason
could have done something a bit better with that. Like and that for me, because that's the weakest part of it. Because it does feel like a tacked on storyline just to get them into the main story. I
mean, I see what you mean, but at the same time, like it is the big rubbery red sucker thing that we haven't seen since the 70s. And it's just kind of like, yeah, they could have done a better job. They could have made it tighter and made it more just focused on the whole Gallifrey Falls thing. Or they could kind of use a B story to get there that's more light and fun and full of a guy in big rubber suits that kind of harkens back to the old days of Doctor Who. So we can do a little bit more of a celebration that also ties into the episode. And I feel like that's more the route they went. And I'm fine with it. I can see what you mean and I can agree with you, but at the same time, I'm like, we haven't seen Zygons in forever, like 30 years. Like, I'm into it.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. I don't mind it too much. It just felt like the most underdeveloped part of it for me. It just it seemed like they didn't. It could have done with another couple of drafts on the script just to polish that bit up a little bit more.
Yeah, I guess. For me, it's good enough. It does what it needs to do, and it works. I see what you mean. I don't think you're wrong, but it just doesn't bother me.
Yeah, I think I'm looking at it as this sort of self-contained thing, and like the fact that it doesn't really get any sort of conclusion. There's nothing mentioned afterwards. It does feel like a plot point that we're just like, right, well we've used that to get to where we need to, right, we'll just drop that now. And it just and I get if they do like you were saying, they go back and deal with it later on. So that's probably would be. I'd probably think of it in a better light in that respect if I'd seen what they do with it later on.
Sure. I mean, the follow-up episode isn't their best episode, but it works. It's enough to get me like, okay, at least they finished the storyline.
Yeah.
What have we missed? Like, is there something in here that we just have not talked about? Talked about the doctors, talked about the Zygons a little bit. We didn't talk about Clara at all, but the episode's really not focused on Clara at all. She's really just sort of there.
Yeah, but she's got that. She's got some really good interactions with the War Doctor and then Matt Smith's Doctor as well. And I think she's kind of like the linchpin of what makes him. What makes them realize that destroying Gallifrey is wrong.
Yeah.
Like they know it's wrong, but I think she's the central part of making the decision. Like, no, we're not going to do this. Let's think of something better to do, because there's that brilliant scene where all three of them have got the hand on the big red button. They're about to push it. They're going to wipe out the Time Lords and the Daleks and end the Time War. And Matt Smith looks up and just sort of sees her, and it's like she's got that really great exchange where she's like, I never pictured it was you that did it.
Right.
And I think that's when he realized where that point of like, no, this is not who I am. And I love the bit where it's like, the hero, the warrior, and then it's like, we've got enough warriors, any old idiot can be a hero. And then Matt Smith's like, well, what should I do? And she's like, be a doctor, basically.
Yeah. Well, they give her a really good moment.
Yeah.
And that is a great moment. It pays off well. But
she's
beyond
fantastic in that. She's a very good actor. Like, she sells that.
She's an incredible actor. And very unfortunately, they had no clue what to do with her on this show for a very long time. I don't think she really hit her stride until like her second to last or last season.
Yeah.
And this is still in that time zone of, well, we don't have Amy Pond anymore, but we have Clara, and, well, she's here. We'll figure something out with her later. And then they do, and then it's great, but it does take way too long to get there.
Yeah.
For my buck. But you're right. Moments like this show how good she's going to be at some point. I know there were some people who were still already a fan of her. I didn't really like any of her time with Matt Smith. I think she didn't get great till she started working with Capaldi.
Yeah, fair enough.
All right. I think that's pretty much everything I had to say about this, at least in a podcast and not just at a bar shouting for hours as I've been known to do. Is there anything else that you wanted to hit? Was there any other big thing?
I think there's three things that I want to hit. The first one is just, I remember seeing this for the first time. Peter Capaldi's eyes, that fucking laser focus, serious, like, when it's such a split second when they're all going on. It's like all 13, and it's like you just hear that the music hits like a bit more of a. There's a bit more vocals come through, and you see the hand push the little lever forward, and then it's just his eyes. I remember thinking that is a cool ass shot, and I think that a Facebook group was created called like Peter Capaldi's Eagle Eyes or something, and it was just that as the image, and I loved that, and I did sort of like I was like really sort of revved up for him as the Doctor, and then I watched the Christmas special, and I was a bit like ugh, and I never actually watched it when it started again. The second thing, it's another like quick thing. It's like David Tennant saying, "I don't want to go again." Like I hated that as his last line. when he regenerated, it's like, I don't want to go. It's like, well, you did, because you decided to leave the role, so fuck off with you, I don't want to go thing. It really annoyed me that then, and it's sort of, yeah, it's just a bit like, yeah, I don't want to go. Oh, piss off, whiny bitch. The last thing, though, that I wanted to mention is Tom Baker's little cameo.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that was brilliant. I think it was so good. And, like, he sells the hell out of it. Like, you know, there's a bit towards the end, and I really picked up on it this time, where there's this sorrowful and mournful look in his eyes where he's like, who knows, and he just sort of, like, walks off, and it's just kind of like, yeah, that's probably the last time he's ever going to be in Doctor Who. And you can see it in his eyes. Like, he did it longer than any other actor has ever done the role. And you can actually see how sorrowful he is, because I think he knew when they were shooting that he probably won't be back as the Doctor, and this is the last time. And it's like, it's a weird sort of thing, like having that knowledge of like, this will be the last time I play this role, and it's there on screen for you to see as well, and it's a very, very moving shot, I think.
It is, and you're right. He sells the hell out of it. Like, he didn't just show up to do a cameo and go home. Like, he felt like Tom Baker. It was a very old Tom Baker, but he still felt like Tom Baker's Doctor.
Yeah. The who knows thing, like the little mannerisms that he had. Yeah, it's all still
and just
there.
Like the shh in the middle of the conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I thought that was great. And I thought Matt Smith played off him fantastic. And I love the whole, like, wait, are you me or are you not? I think you are. And they're like, yeah, we're just not going to fully confirm it. We'll leave it up to you.
Yeah, I love that. It's a nice little cap off to the end of the special. Yeah. It's just like when you hear his voice. As soon as I heard that, like, I really think you might. I was like, I know that voice. Why the hell do I know that voice? And then it's him. And I'm like, fucking hell, that's Tom Baker.
Well, unfortunately for us over in the States, he had spoiled it pretty much right after it aired in the UK, and he was really mad that he was told that he had to spoil it, or that he had to not spoil it, because he wanted to just talk to people. He was like, I got to be in Doctor Who again. Why do I have to keep this a secret? Who cares? So as soon as he was able to, he talked about it. So we went into the theater knowing that he was at the end of it. But I really wish it kind of came out of nowhere. Oh
yeah. I can tell you, it has quite an impact when you have no idea that he's in it.
I'm sure it would, especially because on all of my rewatches, I usually go with Tom Baker is probably my favorite one. Like, I think they all have something special about him, but Tom Baker, there's something about that guy.
I think I need to watch more Tom Baker stuff, because I didn't see much of it. I think I saw Pyramids of Mars and maybe Genesis of the Daleks. That's probably the only ones of his I actually did see, or at least remember seeing.
Yeah, he's got some really good stuff, and even if like the episodes themselves aren't that great, he's always so good that I can get through it. All right. Well, I don't really have anything planned for a wrap up. Like, we could do a favorite quotes. Did you have a quote? Did you write it down?
I've got a few quotes written down. I think one of the ones that would be my favorite. It's from War Doctor, and it's because of how powerful it's so powerful, and John Hurt just delivers it perfectly. And it's where he says, "Great men are forged in fire. It is the privilege of lesser men to light the flame." And when he says that, you're just like, fucking hell! Like, you feel every bit of the pain that he is going through when he says that. Yeah. Like I say, it's John Hurt. He sells the hell out of the whole thing.
He really does. Like, he does such a good job. It's my favorite quote is far more silly, but I'm more of a silly person. And it comes from one of my most annoying things in sci-fi in general is the phrase "reverse the polarity," because it's in fucking everything. Yep. And Doctor Who is well aware of this fact, and they made probably the best joke I've ever seen of when the time portal is showing up above everybody's heads, and like, we need to reverse the polarity. I know that, and they both start reversing the polarity. Well, you're reversing the polarity, and you're reversing it back. We're confusing the polarity.
I love that bit. As far as like silly quotes go, though, there's the Geronimo, Alonzi, and then it's just John Hurt's going, for God's sake. No, I thought of a better one. Literally just the way he says it. John Hurt just going, timey-wimey.
Just David Tennant so quick on that. I don't know where he picks that stuff up. You!
Yeah. Oh, God.
Good shit. Well, that's it. This was a lot of fun. I'm really glad that we were able to do this episode, and I fucking love Doctor Who, and I've never been able to do a big podcast on it. We've done little ones here and there throughout After the Hype and whatnot, but never on this, so this was a lot of fun.
Well, you know what we could do every now and again? We could, like, pick an episode. Like, you could just pick an episode, we can watch it and talk about it.
Yeah. That might work whenever we get these downtimes in between seasons.
Yeah.
Speaking of seasons, though, for Binge Buddies, I can't 100% promise this, but it's looking likely that our next series will be the Resident Evil film franchise. Kind of came out of a joke, and
quality series there.
I think it'll be fun to dive into because it's one of those series that's like, it's so bad it's good, but then when you start looking back on it, it's like, if you're willing to go along for the ride, these things are just stupid fun.
Yeah.
If you want to nitpick them, you absolutely can. You can rip them to shreds. But if you're just like, nah, fuck it, I'm just taking whatever the movie gives me, man, they can be a lot of fun. So it should be a very fun series. We're not 100% on it, but that's where we're leaning right now. So if you have a different series you'd like us to watch, be sure to reach us out at just hit up our main email account, athpodcast@gmail.com, or comment on any of our episodes, anything like that. If there's a different show you'd want or a different series, let us know. But otherwise, that's kind of where we're leaning.
I'm kind of looking forward to it, to be honest, because it's kind of like that whole, like you said, so bad it's good thing.
Yeah.
And I do like the idea of, like, you know, looking at a series of films where the fan base of the original thing they're based on despise them. It's like, that's not what I wanted.
I like them both. I get why people don't, though. Can't argue with that. They actually, it's got to be the only film franchise in history that has a bottle episode. Like, come on.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God.
Like,
wow.
How do you do that in a film franchise? Really?
I wish to use all the sets we've got. Wait, you're a film, not a TV series. What is going on?
Oh, yeah. It's
talk about confusing the polarity.
So we're not sure exactly when that's going to start. We're going to try to get the X-Skulls episode out first, but it all depends on Graham's schedule as he is working a lot right now. So good for Graham. Yeah, we're going to figure it out. But I'm going to take off the rest of 2020 because I need a break.
Yeah, it's like the whole remaining 11 days of it.
Yeah, it's like fucking 10 days. But I'm going to enjoy that break. Let's do a very quick round of plugs. Be sure to check out Behind the Hype. This month of December wasn't the fucking plan, where we went over films that started with a plan and then made something totally fucking different. It was a lot of fun. We got through a lot of good movies. This Thursday will be what's it called? The Emperor's New Groove, which actually I didn't hate nearly as much as I thought I was going to, and still not a big fan. But listen to that episode to find out why, because I think we do a really good job breaking that one down. Matt, anything to plug?
Well, I was on one of those episodes where we broke down Suicide Squad. So yeah, check that one out. That was quite a good episode, good fun to record, and I hope it's fun to listen to. You know, I always have fun recording these things, but I have no idea if people are actually enjoying them. They could be like, everyone's listening, going, "Oh, that fucking British guy's on again. He's so annoying. he's so enthusiastic and energetic. I hate it."
Yep.
But yeah, check that out if you want. I'm not gonna put a gun to your head, but check it out.
Yeah, check it out. It's a good one. Yeah. Otherwise, everyone have a good rest of your year. It's been a doozy. So try to finish it as positive as you can.
Yeah. Look forward to the reboot of 2020.
Yes.
In 2021, where hopefully things will pan out a bit more like what we were expecting of 2020.
2021. It can't be worse than 2020, right?
I don't know.
Right? All right. Thank you, everyone, so much for listening. Thanks, Matt, for doing this. It was a lot of fun. And we'll talk to you all soon. Bye.
Bye.